value of economic growth is the big bad myth of our time. It's the issue that the protesters, intent on shouting out at corporate power, fail to emphasize. Economic growth without controls doesn't just have an environmental cost, it's the enemy of us all.
Be bold. Be courageous. Let's break the conspiracy of silence in the city and through the corridors of Whitehall that refuse to acknowledge that this never-ending race for quarterly returns and double-digit growth does us all more harm than good. Now, in an economic downturn, is an ideal opportunity to choose a different path, one where growth isn't the end game. What we really need is an economic model that delivers health and well-being, pays a better living wage, and doesn't contribute to further social breakdown and environmental damage.
From the Chancellor to the City to the World Bank, everyone seems to think that growth is what we need in order to achieve success. But don't be fooled by GDP. It takes no account of things like the growing gap between rich and poor or the devastating effect on the environment. When you factor these things in, growth is actually in decline.
The huge growth in companies in the 90s turned out to be a mirage. The force that drove the speculation surge encouraged people to think and do things that didn't make sense. Companies that jumped on the mergers and acquisitions bandwagon in a vain attempt to grow saw their value all but destroyed in the last few years.
The traditional way of doing things has left a gaping hole in our pension funds, and we're all left feeling insecure as a result. This chastening experience of the last few years can only give rise to a new form of activism in the city. This isn't an argument that profits are evil. It's about how they're made and who they're returned to. Tower Hamlets is one of the most deprived areas in Western Europe. This is a place where one man believes he can deliver a profitable business that alleviates poverty at the same time. He's no business virgin. After 15 years, he left a senior position at Coca-Cola, having witnessed the excesses of the 90s.
I think the way that finance and resources are allocated is what really upset me. And so you could have $50 billion in international aid a year, and you could have a large telecommunications company spending $120 million to sponsor a race car team for a year. Just was out of whack. If you sell lower margin products in East London to a vast number of people that can never have it before, people get the chance to consume in a sustainable way. If you use environmentally friendly taxi cabs like this is going to turn into, you consume and you sustain the environment. It's just the cost structure is different, therefore the returns are different. It's that simple. If I had the top 500 CEOs in the room today, I would say, of your capital investment, totally, take 2% of that into alternative investments, like a community fund, like new business models in deprived urban communities, and see how that returns for you in the next 18 months. Try it. Try to put some big dollars into this. Don't shy away from innovating.
But they would say their strings are being pulled by the city.
Yeah, they would say that. And I'd say, well, take the risk.